On September 11, 2001, the United States of America suffered the worst terrorist attack in recorded history. In an act of war, a band of 19 suicidal terrorists hijacked 4 U.S. commercial airliners and barbarically used them as weapons of destruction to bomb our own citizens. At 8:48 a.m., the first strike hit the northern tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. 18 minutes later, the second tower was hit. New York's bravest and finest had charged into the infernos. Each like a parent trying to save an infant child, fearlessly and without hesitation, they went headfirst into this new war zone in a valiant attempt to save their fellow citizens, people they didn't even know. Hundreds of them would perish in the attempt. Their bravery set the stage and pace for a remarkable series of events which would prove to the world the indomitable American spirit is not only alive and well, but stronger than ever. As thousands were under attack in New York City, the military headquarters of the United States was hit. The third airliner, being used as a missile, struck Washington, D.C.'s Pentagon. The explosion pierced a gaping wound through the world's largest office complex and set the structure on fire. Did the terrorists wonder about American courage? Our Secretary of Defense never even left the building. 189 people would die as a result of the blast, which would leave the building burning for several days. Kidnapped citizens on the fourth plane learned of the previous events via cell calls to family members. They said a heartfelt and heartbreaking goodbye to their loved ones and took a vote. It is believed they bravely united and fought their captors, disabling the terrorists from reaching their target goal and saving countless lives in the heroic act. All 44 aboard paid the ultimate price of terrorism at a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. As our nation's stunned and tear-filled eyes watched the most hellish thing we had ever witnessed, New York City firefighters, police officers, and EMTs labored furiously to evacuate people from the Twin Towers. As people flooded down the stairwells of the 110-story structures, acts of heroism were abundant. Like the lady that stayed behind to comfort an injured friend. The men who carried a woman and her wheelchair down 68 flights of stairs. The people that called home to tell their families they loved them and everything would be all right, in spite of the fate they suspected they were about to meet. Among hundreds of acts of incredible bravery, there were those even more brave, the New York City firefighters. They were also in the stairwells. They were going up. Climbing toward the most dangerous areas, they sought out those poor souls who were injured, lost in confusion, or trapped by flames. At 10:05 a.m., one of the towers collapsed, burying the people inside under countless tons of concrete and steel, and sending those outside running for their lives. A few precious minutes later, the second tower came down, trapping its innocent victims and again sending debris to chase people through the streets of New York City. Before the smoke would even begin to clear, rescue workers attacked the rubble. In a courageous effort to save those less fortunate, they used bucket brigades and bare hands to dig for the helpless victims. New York's finest and their heroic mayor mourned their losses as they undertook the massive task of restoring order to the city. And in the selfless spirit of their now late fire chief, deputy chief, and chaplain, who died administering last rites to others, the New Yorkers dug. A loyal and caring nation rushed to their aid. Americans from all walks of life sped across this country to help. People from every state in the Union donated funds, food, and clothing to the cause. While millions prayed for them, thousands volunteered to help them. Hundreds stood in line to donate blood for them. Crowds stood in the cold just to cheer for them. The asbestos-filled air was laden so thick with concrete dust that it scratched their corneas. And still they dug, 24 hours a day. People frantically searched for missing loved ones with photographs, descriptions, and desperate pleas, and the rescue workers dug for them. As billboard-sized windows fell around them and entire buildings literally fell beside them, they proudly affixed American flags to their hard hats and jackets, and God bless them every one they dug. Their effort was well worth it. They saved 5 human lives. I'm damn proud to be an American. The unprovoked terrorist attack of 9/11 spilled over 2.5 million tons of debris down on the city, and every ounce of it was covered by a pound of relentless bravery in the form of a rescue worker or volunteer. They made America proud. They made the free world proud. And New York City became the biggest small town in America. Terrorists know something about destruction, but they know nothing about the American spirit. They don't understand the deep respect for life, the loyalty, the resolve, or the patriotic awe of liberty that breeds itself in our democracy. As these evil acts of unbelievable horror designed to divide and conquer us took place, Our government leaders stood at the steps of our Capitol and spontaneously sang "God Bless America." A brave crew dangerously scaled the now damaged roof of the Pentagon to drape our flag from her furrowed brow just as our president arrived. At Ground Zero in New York City, our commander-in-chief, megaphone in hand, stood with hundreds of brave rescue workers as they repeatedly chanted USA. Thousands of retired military officers offered to return to active duty. Millions rushed out to buy American flags, and millions prayed in their local houses of worship across our great nation. An attack designed to pull America apart only serves to drive her closer together. No act of terror can cause us to lose love of our nation. No act of murder can steal our heart from the ideals and principles of freedom. The American spirit is the most powerful force on earth, and it is alive within each of us. We don't succumb to fear, we defy it. Americans have fought for liberty for more than 2 centuries, and we will continue to do so, now and forever. Through an alliance with every freedom-loving nation in the world, America will lead the forces which will eradicate the shadow of terrorism from our planet. Current estimates are that over 6,000 people lost their lives in the attack, and after tens of thousands were evacuated, 5 more people were saved. We will never forget the 6,000. The world will know they did not die in vain, for the day they died was the day that gave birth to the end of terrorism on earth. We will always remember the 5, for the day they were saved was the day the world saw what patriots will do for each other. They saw Americans respond in the midst of deepest crisis, and we responded like the champions that we are. Just as New Yorkers bravely rose to the occasion, our military will bravely rise to the occasion. Just as the nation loyally stood beside New York, we will loyally stand beside our military. We labored together, we cried together, we prayed together, and we will fight together. America stands united. America stands tall.